What's happening, guys? It's Bobby from Picky Tipsters. Happy Sunday. And unfortunately our main account bet is not running today, so you can scratch that. But I think I'm gonna leave our saver in there, San Remo, 1 point each way. No harm, it's only a point each way. Let's give it a go. You never know, he might even win or get a place. I think Bet365 are offering each way first 6, so it could happen. Never know. Anyway, this video is not on another main account bet. It is on answering one of our Twitter followers. They sent us a message asking, what makes a better punter, handicapper or horse player? I decided to make this video because I think that is a very, very important question. And I've made a little list here. These are my top 7 tips on how to become a better horse player, tipster or punter, or whatever you want to call it. Depend on where you're from. I know in America they're called handicappers, and in England they're called tipsters. And if you're in America, you're a horse player, I think, and obviously in England it's either a gambler or a punter. Okay, so here's my top 7. Okay, listen carefully, because this could help. Actually, no, it won't. It will help you. This will help you. All right, and I'm sure if you're a pro and you're watching this video, you're going to agree. All right. So number 1. How to read and interpret information. Okay, so if you're studying form in UK horse racing, you're more than likely 99% chance going to look at the Racing Post newspaper. Okay, the only independent newspaper I think it is in the UK. I think it was formerly owned, or still is owned, by Sheikh Mohammed. But what an amazing newspaper. It's served us so well over the years, and it's getting better and better. So anyway, number 1, understand how to read and interpret information. Okay, so you need to know how to read the form. You're not going to pick any winners if you open a newspaper and you don't know that in a handicap race, the top weight's at the top, number 1, and the bottom weight is at the bottom. Okay, you need to know the conditions, claiming stakes, selling stakes, listed, group penalties, fillies allowance, 3-year-old allowance. You need to know all these little things that they write down in the newspaper, on the race card. Blinkers for the first time, tongue-tied, visors, jockey claim, weight, age, and the going. All these, but this is basic stuff. If you don't know these things, then learn them or you're going to lose, because you need to know these things, okay? If you don't, then follow someone that does. All right, so number 1, understand how to read and interpret information. Now, interpreting information can come in, everyone's got a different opinion. Okay, so what I interpret from the form and what you interpret from the form could be different. And that's exactly how the bookies win, because everyone's different. Everyone has a disagreement. Okay, so yeah, that's how they win basically. But if you believe in your understanding of racing, then you should be able to gain in the long run. Okay, anyway, that's number 1. Number 2, dig deeper. Use your scientific and mathematical intuition to figure out the likely winner. Okay, so horse racing has a lot to do with maths and a lot to do with science. Okay, for example, why do some horses like downhill tracks? Because smaller horses perform better than taller horses downhill, because they have a better center of gravity, better center of balance. Okay, why do some horses perform well at tight tracks like Chester? Because the long, rangy, galloping types don't like turning all the time. They like to be on the galloping tracks, the straight tracks. Okay, so if you've got a really long horse, if you go to the parade ring and you see a horse that's very rangy, like a rangy type that has a long back, then you know it's going to have trouble constantly turning. Okay, so you go for a more close-coupled horse, a horse that's hind legs and forelegs are closer, in distance, and the back's shorter, so basically not a long horse. Those kind of horses do well on tight tracks because they're constantly turning. They've got they're better at turning rather than being a long horse and turning. It's a bit harder for a longer horse to constantly turn. Okay, these kind of things, obviously going, and in terms of maths, weight carriage. I mean, I hear this all the time. I've read some of this. I've read some articles about this. Weight doesn't count. I've heard that so many times. I've read so many articles on the Racing Post about weight not counting. That is absolutely ridiculous. Weight definitely counts. If me and you had a race and we dead heated over 100 meters, and then next week we did the same thing, but you were carrying a ton of bricks, or I don't know, 5 pieces of bricks with a rucksack, of course I'm going to beat you. You know, even though we dead heated last time, I'm going to definitely beat you, right? Simple science. It's weight carriage, you know. So that's just the basics. There's a lot more to that, but yeah, you need to, if you want to win, you need to dig deeper in the form book. Number 3. This is, I always say this. I say this all the time. Okay, stay away from poor value. There are plenty of opportunities throughout the season to pick winners. You don't need to get involved in poor value races. Okay. I knew a neighbor was going to win last week. Did I back her? Are you crazy? Even money? No way. Absolutely no chance. Why didn't you back her? You missed the winner. So what? It was even money. Anything can happen. For me, that wasn't value. Okay. If you get into a habit of betting those kind of horses, then you're going to run into trouble, because you're going to have this false sense of security that you have a system in place where you're backing all these short price winners. Trust me. It's not a pot of gold. You're gonna end up in a lot of trouble betting on those kind of prices. It's better just to watch them win, or do something else. Do like a £1 lucky 15. I don't know. Find another way of betting on those kind of horses. But for me, nah, stay away from them. Number 4. This is probably one of the most important ones. Well, they're all important, but number 4 is particularly important, and is something that a lot of punters get wrong, that they just can't overcome or conquer. Be ultra patient. Okay, it's one of the hardest things to do, because we all love a bit of well, if you're a punter, you do like a bet, and if you love horses, you want a bit of action. And let's face it, on a typical Saturday in summer, including night racing, you're looking at 8 to 9 meetings, and I guarantee you, if you even try to bet on every race, you're going to lose badly. Okay, so you need to sort of specialize. You need to be really patient. You need to sort of become someone be a niche. Okay, don't be the jack of all trades. Don't bet on every single race, every single track, 5 furlongs, 1 mile, 1 mile 4 specialize. Find something like, maybe like I only want to do sprints in group races, or I only want to do milers in class 2 handicaps. Find your niche. Okay, that's probably the best thing to do, and be ultra patient, because if you want to beat these guys, the whole system is set up for us to lose. Okay, and if you want to beat them, you need untold patience like never before. Okay, so that's number 4. Number 5, record your bets. All right. If you don't record your bets, you don't know where you're going wrong sometimes. When you're going through a bad run, you can check your record and say, hey, maybe I'm losing on this type of race and that type of race, and maybe I should cancel those type of races out and just stick to this type of race. You know, you can figure out what's going wrong. You know, recording your bets is a very good idea. Every pro does it. And if you want to become a better punter, you need to do it too. Okay. Number 6, another very, very important one. Only 2 more. Don't worry, not too long. Number 6, don't get emotionally attached to your capital. Okay, that is very important. If you're starting off punting, separate your finances, maybe open another bank account and call that your gambling bank if you like, or even open another account in a gambling website, and just use that as your sort of side. I don't know how to put this. Let me make it easy for you. Separate your finances. Okay, so stick aside some money for your horses, and that's it. Don't dig into anything else, because you have to keep your emotions out of it, and you have to make sure that every time you lose, you just have to forget about it. You know, there's no point cussing and effing and blinding about, oh, yesterday's bet, oh, it was a Willie Mullins horse, Ruby Walsh was on board, 4-7 on, it was a cert, it was an absolute cert, but it fell at the last. Forget all that hindsight talk. You know, it's not going to get you anywhere. It's over. Get on with it. Okay, so don't get emotionally attached. Do your bets. When it's over, if it wins, fantastic. If it doesn't, don't beat yourself down about it. It's not worth it. You're not gonna get your money back. In fact, you're only going to get your money back if you start winning. So you need to remain calm and patient. Okay? So yeah, don't get emotionally involved. That's number 6. And last but not least, please do not use any money you cannot afford to lose. Okay? You've probably heard it before. It's probably a cliche now. But it's very, very important, because then gambling or betting in horse racing can become a problem, and you don't want that, because you might have family and kids, and you might have other like bills to pay and mortgages. You don't want to mess around with that. Okay, so set aside a budget. Okay, bet what you can afford to bet, stick to a system, and see how it goes. Oh, actually, there's actually a bonus one. There's a number 8. Okay, so number 7, let me just recap that. Do not play what you cannot afford to lose. Okay, simple. All right, I'm not going to go into details anymore. Number 8, the last one. If you follow a reputable tipster, do not give up during bad times. Stick with them. Okay, if they're making profit year in, year out, and you're going through 1 month's bad patch, like running bad, some people call it. Okay, trust me, you feel bad, but the tipster doesn't want to lose. He wants to win as much as you do. Okay, so stick with them, right? Believe in them, because I'm telling you now, if you go and chop and change different tipsters, and you go on Twitter and you go on all these websites and you subscribe for all these tipsters, and you think, oh, this one's better, that one's better, they're all going to go through bad runs, every single one of them. All right, nobody's invincible. Okay, so if you found a guy that you like, could be a girl, sorry, if you found someone that you like, and you've got their records, and you've been with them for 6 months, and then all of a sudden it's October, November time, and the jumps are starting and the flats finishing, like now, and the form's kind of out the window, and they're throwing up dodgy results day in, day out, your tipster might be running quite bad. Okay, stick with them. There's no point changing. You know, he knows what he's doing. Okay, if he's in profit every year, then he knows what he's doing. So just stick it out. It's going to happen. If you change, they might have run bad. Then you change to another one, they might run bad, and then you just end up being confused. You end up just betting yourself. Okay, if you got a tipster, stick with him and give him a try for a year. See how he goes. Okay, so those are my top 8 tips for becoming a better horse player, handicapper, punter, gambler, whatever you want to call them. All right, I hope that answers your question, and thank you very much for that, and I'll speak to you next time. Peace.